Megan from the garden. So it is the morning of April 21st and the weather is finally cooperating, and I actually have been able to be out here in the garden and get some much needed projects done. So yesterday I worked out here quite a bit in between a bunch of rain showers that we had, and I got some things done. I set up the camera while I was working, so I wanted to update you on my progress for the season. So one of the things that I have really been working on is the raised bed that is along the south side of my building, and that is where my succession sunflowers are always planted. Now, since sunflowers don't get planted till about the very end of May here, and that is my succession planting bed, that bed is not going to be completely full right off the bat like a lot of other areas in the garden. So I thought that would be a perfect spot to put the rest of my ranunculus. Well, we have had so much rain and snow and wind that I am finally getting those last two trays of ranunculus in the ground. They're just fine. Actually, some of the plants are bigger than the ones that I already planted in those raised beds. So yesterday, I started off by digging out the remainder of the soil that I wanted to move out of this bed. When I initially built this bed, I did not think about the grass that was growing there. I didn't kill it off first because I didn't want to use chemicals. I thought that just by putting dirt over top of it, it would kill it off. Well, it did not, and I have a lot of grass growing through that soil every year. So this year I've been working to dig a lot of that dirt out, remove the roots, and replace it with a raised bed mix, which will replenish the nutrients anyway. So yesterday I got the remainder of the dirt in one portion dug out. I filled it with an organic raised bed mix, and I got one whole tray of ranunculus planted. I also took away the rotted wood that was on the front of the bed and replaced it with these nice landscaping pavers. So here's a look at what these ranunculus look like this morning. They got planted yesterday afternoon. The temperatures were roughly in the mid-50s. They got some nice rain showers. They were out overnight, uncovered. It got down into at least the mid-30s, and they look absolutely fantastic. So my goal for today is to finish this bed and get the other tray of ranunculus planted. The other spot in my garden that I'm really excited about is my greenhouse. Now, if you've been following my videos, you know that I have had so many problems with the panels flying out of my greenhouse in the wind. I really love this greenhouse, but the panels that came with it are so flimsy. They fly out super easy. So I was caulking them in. That didn't seem to help. So I ended up ordering a bunch of new panels that were the same thickness but much stronger. I caulked and glued them in, and they're all stained. So I am utilizing this greenhouse. So let me take you inside and show you everything that I have in there right now. Okay, so here is a look inside of my greenhouse. As you can see, I now have a lot of seedlings in here. Some of them stayed outside for the first time last night in here, and they are looking amazing. Even with the door off of the greenhouse, it typically stays about 10 to 15 degrees warmer in here overnight. All right, so this first tray is that Buplorum that I started inside my furnace room in the dark. It has been sitting in front of the window, so it's clearly going the wrong direction, but I'm thinking it'll perk up this afternoon and get a lot of nice light out here in the greenhouse. Then I have a tray of yarrow, which I am planning to plant outside in the next day or so. Then I have this really sad tray that's half stock and half phlox. I didn't realize that these new trays from Johnny's don't sit level in the bottom trays, and the center soaked up the water and the outsides did not. So the center got really waterlogged and they all died. Then I have this nice little tray of feverfew. This is also a cool flower, so I'm working on hardening this off to plant outside. And then I have 3 trays of snapdragons, which are looking fantastic. There is even a bloom starting on one of them. Let me zoom in and see if I can show you guys. There it is. Can you see that bloom? Crazy that it's gonna bloom in here. I'm not sure that I'll let it bloom. I think I'll pitch it back because I want the plant to continue branching out. These actually have already been pinched already, so looks like it's time to do this one again. And then if we pan over here, this is that last tray of ranunculus that is definitely going in the ground today next to the rest of the ranunculus. And then over here, I have my little thermometer This is how I watch the temperature and the humidity in here. This is just from Amazon. So it's currently about 40 degrees outside. It is 53 degrees in here and 66% humidity. So with that high humidity level, that is why these plants are so happy. I also have some strawberries in a grow bag in the corner, and they're starting to green up. All right, so that's an update on what I did out here yesterday. Today it is going to be in the mid 60s, close to 70, no wind for once. My goal is to get as much done out here as possible. So I'll set up the camera while I'm working, and then I will give you a tour at the end of this video on everything I got accomplished. Okay, so I kind of forgot to turn the camera on at the beginning, but I have all of my ranunculus planted behind me now. What I first did was I dug out a whole bunch of the dirt to make somewhat a no-dig bed. I wanted to get rid of all of the grass in there. So I dug out a bunch of dirt. That got moved to where my pumpkins are getting planted. I put a layer of cardboard down, and then I put my raised bed mix on top of the cardboard. So I think my ranunculus are looking really good. So let me give you a look at the bed. All right, so there it is. I would say this is about 25 feet long. I got 2 trays planted in here. So I'm guessing that is probably close to, I don't know, 250 ranunculus. So I'm so glad that I finally got these in the garden. They are all watered in. We're expecting rain the next 3 days, so they should be super happy. So now I'm gonna move on to my stock, my yarrow. I might try to tear out a couple of raised beds that I'm moving out to my parking lot, so let me show you that too. So this area last year was kind of a mixture of plants. Those 2 raised beds actually started out with strawberries, but then I ended up planting a few dahlias from seed in there. This area was my mixture garden that I called it, where I trialed a few plants, like 4 to 6 of each that I wanted to see if I liked. Strawflower, Status, Rudbeckia. So this year, this whole spot is going to be Status. These 2 beds are getting removed and going out by my pumpkin bed. And then this area is going to be Ageratum and Feverfew. Okay, I'm gonna get going on the next planting, and I'll update you when I'm done. Good morning from the garden. It is the next morning, and I ended up getting quite a bit done yesterday out here. I never quite get as much done as I really want to, but I'm happy with how far that I got yesterday. Today, as you can see, it's really dreary. We're supposed to get some rain again, so perfect for all those ranunculus that I got planted. So I wanted to just quick give you a little tour of everything that I got done. Most of it was kind of preparation work for planting, which I hope to finish this weekend. So let me show you everything that I did. First of all, look how well these tulips are coming up. They are just loving life right now. All right, so one of the main areas that I worked on was this bed right here next to my air conditioner. Please ignore all of my water hoses that I have laying around. But I previously had 2 4x4 raised beds in this spot, which if I pan over here, you can see them laying down over there. Those had strawberries and dahlias from seed in them last year. I wanted to remove those to have a full planting bed this year. So I took those out. There was landscape fabric underneath of them, them. I don't know why I did that. So I had to pull that up, and then I replaced all of the raised bed mix that also had wood chips in the bottom. So it broke down over the course of the year and was really nice compost. So this area is completely full of that nice compost, along with this area that is full of that nice compost, which this is where part of my snapdragons are going. These two 4x4 raised beds are going outside of my fenced in garden next to my pumpkin patch for additional planting space. So just past that planting space, I ended up redoing this area. Past that area, you can see my ranunculus, but that area where I laid that landscape fabric has also been amended with new soil, compost, and Biotone starter fertilizer. That fabric is ready for me to burn holes in, and that's gonna be where all of my status is planted. Then if we walk a little further, so in this middle bed, this is mostly going to be zinnias and some dahlias, but you can see those white tags. Those are where some tulips are planted. I did have extra compost that I went ahead and just spread in this area to amend it. This whole space will be amended though. I still need to pick this door up that blew over in the wind the other day. That needs to be rebolted to the building. But then if we pan over here, you can see the remainder of the ranunculus I have planted, and they are so happy right now. It is currently in the upper 40s out here. They got fresh rain last night, and they are super happy plants. All of the soil where these ranunculus planted was dug out. It was completely replaced with an organic raised bed mix. All of the grass roots were lifted, and these should start putting on some growth really quickly. I can't wait to get blooms from these. So my next plan in the next few days is to finish laying the landscape fabric in those amended beds, burn the holes in them, and then I'm gonna start planting some stock, some yarrow, and the few phlox plants that I have. I'm also going to be direct seeding some bupleurum and some dara, and then probably starting to put some snapdragons out in the ground. So I'll make sure to set up my camera when I'm doing all of this to keep you guys updated. We'll see you soon.